Hi everybody and welcome to this preview video for the Spring Major 2022. Going to be looking in as much detail as possible at this early stage at the new course. It's the Old Bridge Park. We're going to have the overviews on the screen and also some screenshots from the flyover which has just been released. We're also going to put the yardages up there so we can see whether we're going to need higher power balls or we're going to need distance drivers on some of these holes. Very exciting indeed. Before we get started, please hit thumbs up on the video and make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. Don't forget to join us on Facebook over at BK Golf Clash, and also check back on the channel in the next few days for more content on this lovely looking new course. Let's get started. Before we get started with the overviews and some of the screenshots from the flyover, here are the yardages of the holes. And you can see here there's no par 3 that is less than 200 yards. So already that is going to be challenging in terms of clubs that we are going to be using. And then there's some very lengthy par 4s as well, reminiscent of the Waterfield Sands course. And you will see some design elements as we look as well that do hark back to certain bits of the Centenary Harbour. So if those two courses are anything to go by, this one is going to be tricky and challenging. Plenty of distance to cover. Let's have a look at the holes. First hole does seem to be a fairly straight par 4, and in certain winds I do think it is going to be drivable, but we do need to play a precision shot here. Just look at the amount of sand and also rough patches on the way down to the green. Fairly narrow line to play for here, but I do think there's going to be a good opportunity, even though this is quite a lengthy par 4. First of the par 3s, again, a fair amount of yards to cover here, 240, and these measurements are usually from the first tee. We don't see any immediate options for rough bumps here, but like a lot of these greens on this course, they do seem to slope down from the front down to the pin, so there has got to be some consideration here for second bounce wind push, especially when we're playing downhill. This first par 5 is going to be tough. Even though it's the same distance as the first par 4, the shot is going to be a lot harder. Precision is needed, really, in terms of where your drive is going to end up. This is not one continuous patch of fairway all the way down to the green, and there are some awkward lines to be played here. Very reminiscent of Centenary Harbour with the edging to some of the fairway patches and also the islands that we find on this hole as well. Once again with this par 3, decent length to the hole, but also a generous size green, and the pin is right towards the back of the green that you can see here. And similar to the other one, a bit of a downhill slope to contend with as well. So if we are going to bounce down on this hole, we have got to make allowances for the wind. Looks like a nice challenging hole. Looking from the green back towards the tee on this par 5, and once again this is going to be quite challenging. I think there are two routes on offer, and I think that if you are brave and want to risk it, going for distance will give you an easier approach down one side, but again it may well be wind dependent here, but there is plenty of hazards that we will need to watch out for. We don't want to put the eagle at risk, so this one is going to be challenging. Now, with this par 4 being 540 yards, we are going to need distance regardless of wind direction and regardless of tee. So this one will be difficult. We have a choice of two routes. There are patches of fairway on the left and also the right from the tee. But this green is nestled round to the right-hand side of the hole in general. And as you can see from the picture here, there's quite a bit of rough in play as well. So we're going to have to be going directly at the green on this one if we want to try and get a drop. With this par 3, we see the green does drop down a little bit there with elevation, but just look at the fairway before that. It doesn't look like the smoothest piece of land in the game of Golf Clash. So if we are going to have to bounce on that, then hopefully there will be a consistent point that we can land on. Doesn't seem to be too many hazards on this one, but I think the distance and the undulations of the fairway and the slopes on the green as well will provide the tricky parts to getting this one to drop. Hole number 8, the final par 4, and this is a dogleg. Of course, we don't know yet whether we can actually cut the corner and blast over the rough and the trees. This is a fairly lengthy hole, but not as bad as some of the others. But I think the key here on the drive is to get a clear shot to the green to have a chance at an eagle. The green doesn't seem to be protected by too many bunkers here. It's all about having a good line, and hopefully we can navigate the slopes down and have a good chance here at getting a drop. Now, with this hole, the final par 5, it was difficult to get a shot from the flyover of the green and the fairways looking back towards the tee. And that's because the fairways are in small patches and there doesn't seem to be one direct route. So again, we've got to plan our routes carefully and with precision here. I don't really know if there's going to be albatross opportunities. The green is very, very guarded by the trees there. So maybe a little bit of curl, we can flirt with the dangers that we have and maybe get ourselves a decent chance. But again, plenty of slopes down to the green on this one. I think this course is going to be very, very challenging, and I'm very excited to get started.